morning and welcome to Rising. We have just one more day left of the Democratic National Convention. I thought it would never end, but it is coming to an end. I will admit that I fell asleep last night before Tim Walz spoke. I made it somewhere into the Oprah speech, which was an interesting surprise. Why don't you tell our viewers about that?
Yes, Oprah Winfrey made a surprise appearance at the Democratic National Convention last night and made a special appeal to independent voters.
You're looking at a registered independent who's proud to vote again and again and again because I'm an American and that's what Americans do. So I'm calling on all you independents and all you undecideds. You know this is true. You know I'm telling you the truth, that values and character matter most of all. Common sense tells you that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz can give us decency and respect.
Shortly after Oprah's speech, the Trump War Room account posted a letter on X that they said Oprah wrote to Trump back in 2000, suggesting he'd be a good president. Quote, "Too bad we're not running for office. What a team." When asked about the letter last year, Oprah said, I might have thought it back then. I might have thought it 23 years ago.
Former President Bill Clinton took the stage last night, applauding Harris as a president of joy.
From a man who once had the honor to be called in this convention, the man from hope, we need Kamala Harris, the president of joy, to lead us. So, I'll be doing my part, you do yours. I'll see you when we're making a real joyful noise when the votes are counted.
Despite the big names who took the stage last night, for me, the one who stole the show was Tim Walz's son, Gus, who became emotional on behalf of his dad.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. I'm letting you in on how we started a family.
As expected, the media was mystified by yesterday's speeches. Here's MSNBC's Joy Reid.
I think we just saw an episode of Ted Lasso, basically. If you watch that show, that's basically what this just was, right? I mean, I could see how he won football games. I could see being, the kids on that football team got a speech like that. No wonder they went from 0 wins to winning a championship.
And of course, there was Morning Joe.
They're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Take the issue that's your weakness, make it your strength, and go straight at them with it. And it's hard to beat that. I will say also, Tim, we used to run against Democratic parties. It was like the old Simpsons cartoon where they had Republican conventions and they held up banners that said, we don't care about people. Then they go to the Democratic convention, they held up banners that said, we can't run things,
we
right?
hate ourselves.
Yeah, we can't run things. And this is a Democratic Party, I mean, just ruthlessly efficient. I have not seen a convention night after night after night that sets it up this well.
Now, in a different tone, Republican strategist Scott Jennings gave his reaction to the DNC's third night, saying nobody said anything.
Tonight said anything. Nobody tonight said a damn thing. They want you to vote for a ticket based on absolutely no concrete idea about what they would do once they get in office. You said he got more progressive when he got elected governor. So you're saying every time he gets another office, he gets more and more progressive. I think that's exactly what would happen. Tonight, you did hear people say, well, we may not agree with them on everything, but at least it'll be joyful as they tax us into oblivion. I think the idea that you could run an entire presidential campaign based on the idea of vote for me to find out what's in it.
Wait a minute,
Scott, terrify every American.
I love that guy.
I mean, she unveiled her economic plan last week on Friday. Scott?
Finally, yes. She has a plan.
Finally, after 3 weeks
You're not
of
gonna
running.
like it. Well,
after 3 weeks of having a campaign, she's finally got
you're
a
right.
thorough
The
economic
campaign was
plan.
a little bit hastily
They had to throw it together
You
real
did,
fast.
Yes,
I
they
just wish
coronated her.
it went on for so long, Robbie. You fell asleep. I'm tired of Democrats being so woke. Everybody needs to go to bed at a reasonable hour. This is ridiculous.
Enough of this wokeness. I want to go to sleep.
I am sleepy.
I appreciate that. Yes, thank you for handling the Tim Walz reaction last night. Yes, it's just very, very late. It's funny that everyone complained. I mean, they're correct to complain about how long the Trump remarks went on at the RNC. I feel like every night has been just as late as that. Look, it was an effective, this is a pep rally. The Republican National Convention was the same way. It's an effective pep rally. I'm sure it's rallying Democrats, progressive, getting everybody on the same page. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were excited to see Oprah, just as for the RNC, there was a lot of people excited to see Hulk Hogan and Kid Rock. Here they have Oprah. She made her pitch. The moment of Tim Walz's son being emotional was very nice. Yeah, it's nice. What am I going to say? It's nice. Good job. Well done, pep rally.
Yeah.
I don't think they spent a lot of time. They spent a lot of time talking about joy instead of policies, I would argue, because the policies are not themselves popular. And in fact, Kamala is tied to an administration that's policies are not popular. And so of course she doesn't want to talk about that. Of course Democrats don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about joy and vibes and feelings. But, that's fine. That's part of what a convention is for. And they're doing it effectively. And we'll see.
I think it's silly for them to keep saying this is not about policies. The first night, they had a young girl come up and speak about what it means to have access to abortion. That's a very popular policy. It's one of the key things they're running
It's about abortion, sure.
7 in 10.
That's the one popular policy they have.
No, I can name more. 7 in 10 people across the United States of America don't support full abortion bans, which has been the effect of the overturning of Roe versus Wade and many Republican-controlled state legislators. So they're running, making that a central issue, because that is a key policy issue for a lot of women, especially the 64,000 women who became pregnant because of rape in these states with a full ban. You also have them running on addressing price gouging. Prices being high in the economy are number one issues for people. And so I do think this whole convention has been about policy and been a pep rally, more so a pep rally. But I think the policy is there and really getting people to feel emotions, to feel something. I feel like that was an unintentional goal, but ended up being a key goal. You had Tim Walz's neighbor come out and talk about how he's always been a nice guy and paid off people's lunch debt. And you see how much his son supports him. It's just, I think it's why Bill Clinton had to rewrite his speech. He probably did have a run-of-the-mill speech, and there was mainstream media reporting that he ended up just tearing it up after hearing other people's speeches and being like, no, I have to speak from the heart because that's what everybody's doing. So really emotional. Why are they doing that to us? I'm an easy crier. I was crying. I was like, what's going on?
Well, the clapping seals on MSNBC and CNN would applaud anything that happened on the Democratic National Convention stage. So it's not at all surprising to see them.
Image, Robbie. Seals at the desk.
They're going to be enthusiastic about no matter what is happening up there because it's not Joe Biden. As long as it was not Joe Biden, and it is worth discussing the contrast here. This is a way more exciting and energized and joyful, my eyes are going to roll out of their sockets, but joyful experience than it would have been if it was Joe Biden as the candidate, someone who they're all pretending to like, all pretending that it's this wonderful hero who stepped aside valiantly for the good of democracy. No. He did not step aside willingly. He was ousted. He was forced out by Nancy Pelosi and her allies. Forced to step aside from being the candidate because he was going to lose and he was going to drag down the entire party with him, and it was going to be depressing and sad, and they had basically already resigned themselves to losing massively to Donald Trump. So it is what a difference a month, 2 months makes. We didn't have that. Instead, we have a Democratic Party that is very revived and energized and excited about they installed Kamala Harris as their candidate, and now about installing her as the president. And the polls suggest there is a good chance of that happening. It's pretty even. It's about 50-50.
I don't know if they're going to install her. Robbie, people
Well,
will
people will
vote,
vote
and
for
whatever
her,
their
and
choice is, that person will become
This time
the
they get to choose. They didn't get to the Democratic primary voters. Didn't get that choice, but the general election will have that choice. Yes.
Yes. Thanks to Sleepy Joe for retiring, but everyone else stop being so woke.
Yeah, because we're sleepy. More Rising right after this.